With the NBA season being over, we are finally here to talk about these awards that we've been discussing all year long. Who will win MVP? Who will win Most Improved? Who will win Defensive Player of the Year? I mean, I don't know if people really talk about defense that much because the people out here they always talking about offense. They don't talk about defense as much. And we will talk about all the awards on this show today. So first of all, make sure that like and subscribe button and join your boy here at the Daily Thinker. We talk about faith, sports, theology, apologetics, all in one channel. Okay, this is amazing. You should join us. Have fun. We have fun over here. But let's get into these awards. I want to start off with the NBA All-Team, All-NBA. And this is always a tough decision when it comes to All-NBA teams. And I really wish they would change the format. You know why? Because I really hate this format that they have now. To be honest, this format needs to change. Basketball has no positions anymore, okay? Jaylen Brown is not really a shooting guard. He's a wing forward / point guard, whatever you want to call him. And he won't be able to make the All-NBA team because of position. Other people like Zach LaVine, he won't be able to make the NBA All-Team this year because of position. I know I'm giving a couple things away, but if they would just change the structure of All-NBA and just make it, hey, the top 15 players in the league this season. If it's 5 point guards on All-NBA first team, oh well, let it be. If it's 5 centers, oh well, let it be. We know that won't ever happen. 5 centers, no, not in today's game. But let's get into the All-NBA first team. All-NBA first team, we have Luka Doncic. Of course, we had Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Giannis. And this was the hardest decision right here. This had to be the hardest decision for me in general. And that was Jokic. I put Jokic as my starting center on All-NBA first team. As you can see by the shirt, that's not why because I like Jokic. I put him as number 5. It's because he has been the best player this season in the NBA. And really, he's been the best center in the NBA as well. I know Joel Embiid. See, this is why I said let it not be any positions because it was no position at all. Joel Embiid would have made All-NBA first team. He would have made the All-NBA first team over Jason Tatum, in my opinion. But that's not the case. And I know they're trying to switch it to forward and Embiid is the center. We know Joel Embiid is a center. Easy. He's a center. But let me tell you why I picked Luka. Luka, of course, Luka, this was the decision right here. It was Ja or it was Luka. But I picked Luka because Luka has been carrying the Dallas Mavericks all season long. After losing KP, even though KP was hurt, he really didn't play that much. The guy who was talking to you right now, I was one of those individuals that said, you know what, Luka, I don't know how good he can be without KP. I think Luka needs KP to excel. KP spaced the floor out for him. He can make things happen, even though KP is not producing the way I thought he would be producing. You see what I'm saying? And I was absolutely wrong about that. About that. Absolutely wrong. I never thought that who I have next in the backcourt, of course, Devin Booker. Devin Booker is one of the most slept on individuals in the NBA, almost in NBA history. This is a guy who is leading the Phoenix Suns to the best record in the NBA, 60 plus wins, no MVP mention at all by the media. He had MVP mention from me here at the Daily Think. Of course, Book, we mentioned you, okay? Even though I was wrong about you years ago when I said, hey, Devin Booker is not a superstar, but this season, after losing in the NBA Finals, Devin Booker stepped his game up to a different level. He's been the most clutchest player in the NBA this season, and he's not considered in the MVP vote. This is a no-brainer to have him as my backcourt guard. And Jason Tatum making my All-NBA first team. During the regular season, especially at the start when the Boston Celtics were on that downhill slope and Marcus Smart said, everybody knows our schemes. It's Brown, it's Tatum. They don't pass nobody's passing the ball well. He really said, yeah, they're not passing the ball. And things change for this team. Things change for Jason Tatum. And he put up career numbers all across the board, led his team to the 2nd seed in the East. He was a beast. He was a man amongst boys this year. Jason Tatum is no longer a child. I know we look at this Boston stuff to say about Giannis, the Greek freak, the man amongst boys, the animal, fear the deer. When he comes down, he can make things happen, and he definitely improved this year. It's crazy to think about how good Giannis improved this year. His jump shot, he's confident now. He's hitting fadeaways with confidence. He's taking jump shots with confidence. He's not hesitating so much. Giannis actually took his game to another level. When you're that good, like a Giannis, like a LeBron, like a Kevin Durant, like a Steph Curry, it's like, how good can you really get? How better can you get? But our center, we have Jokic. Jokic, amazing year this year. You're missing your two best players. Just think about this. Your two best players have not played this season. Well, of course, Michael Porter Jr. played a handful, literally a handful of games, or almost two handful of games. And Jamal Murray still out with the ACL tear, and Jokic carries his team to the 6th seed, 50 wins. It's unbelievable. No other superstar next to him. This guy on my shirt, he did that. And I wasn't surprised by it, really. Well, let me stop playing. I was surprised. I was surprised that the Denver Nuggets, Jokic was playing this good. He's just been 27 points per game, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. PER is out the roof. Of course, the bigs usually dominate in the PER unless you're Michael Jordan. But Jokic has flat out been the best big man this season. I know it was a toss-up between him and Embiid. Embiid was playing great and has been playing great and is playing great up to now in the playoffs as we speak after the first game. But Jokic in the regular season was amazing, carried his team, NBA second team, Ja Morant and Stephen Curry in the backcourt. Now, the reason why I picked Ja Morant in the backcourt was, for me, it was a no-brainer. He has been playing like the best point guard in the league. And I say that because Curry, he was playing at an amazing level. And I feel like when he started to chase that record, shout out to the 2794 collection, okay? The NFT collection, it's amazing by Stephen Curry. But when Stephen Curry was chasing the record, he fell off. The threes weren't going. He was shooting a horrible percentage. And things wasn't going as good as they were before he started chasing that record. And Ja has been playing amazing. We didn't expect this after Memphis Grizzlies to lead them to the 2nd seed in the West. Even though they won 20 games without him, Ja has been a bedrock, the heart and soul of this Memphis Grizzlies team. And he has been putting up amazing numbers, 27 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Just what more can you say? What more do you want from a point guard? And this is a guy that improved his jump shot. I remember back when James Harden dared him to shoot. He stumped at him and said, shoot. And Ja Morant shot, he actually made it. But people used to go under the screen on Ja, just let him shoot the three. I know they probably casually go under the screen now on Ja Morant, but not as much. Because you know why? He improved that jump shot. He improved his free throw shooting. Ja Morant improved all across the floor. Actually, to be able to control and know when to attack, know when to pass, know when the game needs to slow down as a point guard, he is amazing. Even as a score first point guard, he knows when the game needs to be taken control of, and he's able to take over games and control games at an amazing rate. And Steph Curry, of course, the chef himself, we have him here as the second. He had a good season. I still don't feel like this was one of those Curry seasons. When the season first started, it was. He was on the tear. He was playing amazing. We was talking about MVP for Stephen Curry. But then, like I said, the record, shout out to the 2794 collection, the record, when Stephen Curry was chasing it, he fell off. Stephen Curry definitely fell off after he was chasing that record. And I guess all that, just all the fatigue of trying to chase a record that big to be all-time leader in 3-point shots made was something amazing. He had a great season, and Golden State had a great season. I'm ready for them to see. I'm ready to see what happened in the playoffs. Actually, I'm ready to see what happened in the playoffs, even though Curry was hurt, gone for a month. First game back, minute restriction, and I'm ready to see what Stephen Curry would do in the NBA playoffs. And as my two forwards we have DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Durant. DeMar DeRozan was a surprise for a lot of people this year. To me, I saw this DeMar DeRozan back in 2017, I want to say 2016, 2017, when the Raptors had the best record in the NBA. DeMar DeRozan was leading them in an amazing way, putting up 27 points per game, I think, at that time, playing amazing, hitting clutch shots every now and then. But when the playoffs came and they lost to LeBron, all of that just went downhill. Nobody thought about what he did in the regular season, and everybody forgot about that and just started calling him a choker and this and that. Let's be honest, we knew those teams were not going to be a Cavaliers team led by LeBron James in like the middle of his prime. That wasn't going to happen at all. But this year, as a Chicago Bull, he has been clutch. He made things happen. The Bulls surprised us until after All-Star break. After All-Star break, it went downhill, and they didn't win that many games against teams that were 500 or better. That was a slight on the Chicago Bulls, and for me, it was a slight on DeMar DeRozan. But DeMar DeRozan put up great numbers, 28 points per game. Let's just give him that extra point. 27 points per game. 28 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He was 10th in PER. DeMar DeRozan, he played pretty great this season. No really flaws. He was able to control games when they needed him to control games, but most importantly, he was able to knock down clutch shots when they needed him to knock down clutch shots. Like I said, if they would change his format, maybe he would have. I don't think he still probably wouldn't have gotten the first team and they changed his format. But I'm still looking forward to the NBA changing his format. And as the second forward, I have Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, of course, he only played, 52 games. Injuries came into play. We have Kevin Durant for MVP race. He was in the MVP race. Let's not forget that. Kevin Durant was leading the league for the MVP race at a point until he got hurt. And that really hurt his case for MVP, but he's been firing on all cylinders since he came back. He's averaging 29.9 points per game, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Great season by Kevin Durant. This is nothing unusual. This is the same Kevin Durant we get every year. You're that great, is only little things that you need to fix. And I'm sure every offseason Kevin Durant fixes those little things. But gets to us when we just watching, it's like, what more? How much better can you really get? Besides be able to take less shots and score more points. And we know he's one of the most efficient players in NBA history. So that's something easy for him to do. Not that hard for Kevin Durant to get done. And as my center, I have Joel Embiid. Now, some people might have this toss-up. Joel needs to be on the first team, but I have Joel on the second team. Only reason I have Joel on the second team is because he got James Harden later on down the season for 20 games. Even though I know 20 games in the NBA is not a lot, but it's a great sample size. Jokic had no one. He didn't have Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr. played just a handful of games, and Michael Porter Jr. compared to James Harden, come on. That's not a real. The value weighs on the side of James Harden. But Embiid was amazing. He has a great team next to him. Maxey, James Harden, Tobias Harris. When he comes along, when he's playing great. But Joel Embiid, he put up monster numbers. First in scoring, 30 points per game. The last big man to actually win a scoring title since Shaq. That was very impressive to see. 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and he's third in PER. So what more can you say? Joel Embiid on the second team as the center. And who we have for our third team? The third team is always the most hardest team for me to put together every year when I think about who should make the third team, because it's sometimes, in some cases, you have people who did not make the playoffs. You're like, man, they played so great, but the team is not as great as the player that was on that team. So should they make all NBA third team? And that's why I want this format to be changed so people can actually get paid the money that they deserve when they make these All-NBA teams, because a lot of people are missing these All-NBA teams that deserve to be on All-NBA just because of the position that they play. But I have Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell as my backcourt. I really thought about putting Chris Paul in the backcourt, but the numbers don't speak third team, even though his impact speaks all-time point guard, and he missed a couple games this year. Had a couple injuries here and there, a couple nicks. But Trae Young has been amazing for the Hawks. Bad start. He got them into the playoffs with an amazing performance, even though I know that don't count as to put him on the third, first, or second team at all. But his play with Atlanta it's been great. 28 points per game, 3 rebounds, 9 assists. He's third in assists. So, I mean, what more would you want to ask for from a point guard? From a point guard like Trae Young, who's able to make clutch shots, get things done when it needs to get done, and loves to go into hostile environments and take a bow in Madison Square Garden. I want him on my third All-NBA team because he does amazing stuff. Donovan Mitchell as well. Donovan Mitchell, the Utah Jazz fell under the radar this season. Not a great season as everybody expected. It seems like they are always the dark horse. Every time the season starts, they play good at the beginning, and everyone is guessing, say, hey, they will make that push. They will go to the NBA Finals. They will go to the Western Conference Finals, and it never happens. And I know it's a lot of noise around Donovan Mitchell's relationship with Rudy Gobert. I really don't know no intel about that. We know how the rumors go because of social media. I don't really believe those rumors that Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert have a horrible relationship and that Rudy Gobert wants out and that he will be leaving this offseason. I don't believe that 100%. But Donovan Mitchell, despite all that, he's ninth in scoring, 25 points per game, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. He had a good season, and to put him on my third team, I had to. Now, this was some trouble. I wanted to put Jaylen Brown on that third team just because how much he played a huge role with the Celtics making his playoff push and having a great record. I mean, Jaylen Brown putting up 23 points per game. So this is something that I would have to battle with. I'm not even 100% sure if I should put Donovan Mitchell on this third team over Jaylen Brown on the third team. Y'all let me know. Should Donovan Mitchell be over Jaylen Brown when it comes to All-NBA third team? I'm not 100% sure about that. Y'all let me know in the comments below. And who I have as my 2 forwards, LeBron James and Pascal Siakam. I put LeBron on the third team. I saw some people put him on the first, second team, but I don't think LeBron deserves to be on the first or second team this season, even though he had a career offensive season, averaging 30 points in year 19. What an amazing feat that he did. That was amazing. Now, if they would have made the playoffs, he was the 4th or 5th seed or even a 6th seed. He could have been in conversations or in talks of being an MVP just because he had such a great year. But I could not put him over Tatum. Couldn't put him over Kevin Durant. I just, some things I could not do that. Couldn't put him over Giannis, even though he averaged 30 points per game. The Lakers were that bad this year, where they lost 49 games. It just had a horrible season. And so I think LeBron, it's fair to put him on the third team, even with his numbers, 30 points per game, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Just the structure of the team and how this season planned out, I cannot see myself putting LeBron above the third team. And Pascal Siakam, who came alive towards the midway toward the end of the season, I won't say midway season, he came along and pushed the Raptors and helped the Raptors get this playoff spot, and he's been playing amazing at the forward position. And this is why I don't think Pascal Siakam will be on the All-NBA team, and this had to do nothing with positions. I will put somebody like a Jaylen Brown over him, but Jaylen Brown plays the shooting guard position, and so I'm having an internal battle putting him or Donovan Mitchell on the third team. So I really don't even know if I got Donovan Mitchell on this list right now, but I'm gonna let y'all decide that. But Pascal Siakam, he had a good season. Now he's turned in some games. He looked like his nickname, Spicy P. Okay, like he getting stuff done. He making things happen. 22 points per game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Good season by Pascal Siakam, helping them get into the playoffs. And Karl Anthony Towns, I have him as my center. No other center in the NBA is better than Karl Anthony Towns besides Embiid and Jokic. You can make those 1 or 2, 1A, 1B, but all I know that Karl Anthony Towns is the third best center in the NBA, and he has the potential to be the best center in the NBA one day. But this season he played good. You saw that 60-point burst that he had a couple weeks before the NBA season was over. And I know a lot of people were scoring 60 and 50 toward the end of the season because the defense is kind of relaxed, flow and go, just let different things happen on the basketball court. Besides that, Karl Anthony Towns, he deserved to be an all NBA player. 24 points per game, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and we saw them take game 1 against Memphis. Now, I'm not adding the playoffs into this at all. This is all regular season. Karl Anthony Towns had a great regular season, and Minnesota was a team that we did not think would make the playoffs. I had Minnesota not making the playoffs when the season started. I don't think anyone had them making the playoffs besides probably themselves and Patrick Beverley. When he got there, said, "Yeah, we gonna make the playoffs." You know why he said that? Because everybody thought they had no chance to make the playoffs. I remember hearing discussions to Karl Anthony Towns leave, D'Lo leave, Anthony Edwards, he can stay there by himself, things like that. And now Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns look like a great duo together, a great duo. And now the all NBA defensive first and second teams, we have Marcus Smart, Drew Holiday, Mikal Bridges, Jaren Jackson, and Rudy Gobert. All 5 of these players have been amazing on defensive end. I know a lot of people might argue, say, hey, don't put Drew Holiday on the All-NBA first team. Maybe he can go on the All-NBA second team. Just wait till you hear this All-NBA second team. So the All-NBA second team is Pat Beverly, Freddie VanVleet, Bam Adebayo, Giannis, and Robert Williams. And of course, I had to put Patrick Beverly on there. Patrick Beverly does not get enough respect for his defense that he plays. And I know Russell Westbrook said that clip by Patrick Beverly, he doesn't play no defense. He just running around. He tricks a lot of y'all. And I know Patrick Beverly, he went on the podcast, on JJ Redick's podcast, and said, hey, Russell Westbrook, he almost ruined my career by saying stuff like that. But this man actually plays defense. Just watch these games when he plays defense. I'm not saying he's the best defender of all time, but as a perimeter defender, he hounds you. He makes things happen on the defensive end, and he's just scrappy. He's everywhere. I'm not saying he will shut you down at 5 or 10 points, but this man deserves his respect, and he deserves to be on an all-NBA team. I almost had him on an all-NBA first team. It was a toss-up between him and Drew Holiday, but I want to put Drew Holiday in that position just because I feel like Drew Holiday plays better defense, and he's just a better overall defender. But Patrick Beverly deserves to be on an all-NBA team. I'm looking at different articles. I'm reading different articles. I'm looking at Patrick Beverly has a 2%, 4% chance of making an all-NBA team. Are you kidding me? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, folks. Somebody has to fix this, and we're going to fix this here at the Daily Thinker. And Robert Williams, Giannis, kudos to y'all. Y'all had an amazing defensive year as well. And the coach of the year, we have the coach of the year. Now, this right here was either between Monty Williams or Taylor Jenkins. Ime Udoka, I'm going to give him some credit too, because I thought Boston was falling apart. And now they're the second seed in the playoffs. So second seed in the East. What an amazing year by Ime. So congrats to him. He had an amazing coaching year. But Taylor Jenkins, he takes home the coach of the year. I want to give it to Monty Williams because they have the best record. I feel like this was probably expected, but nobody really expected Phoenix to pick up where they left off last year. People thought this was a fluke. I kind of thought this was a fluke for them last year going to the NBA Finals and having a great season. But this year they turn around and win 60-plus games. But I want to give this award to Taylor Jenkins because Memphis bust out the scene out of nowhere. And I know sometimes this can be narrative-driven, but Memphis coming out of nowhere and the way he has been coaching them and them having a second seed in the West, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. Only one superstar. I know you have 2 superstars in Phoenix. You have Book, you have CP3, a Hall of Famer, and Devin Booker, who will be a future Hall of Famer. Of course, if he keeps at this pace that he's playing at now, I mean, he will be one of the top shooting guards of all time if he stays at this pace that he's playing now. But this Coach of the Year award, I have to give it to Taylor Jenkins. Now, Sixth Man of the Year, we have it's easy. 6 Men a year, Tyler Hero. There's no discussion about this person, that person, Kevin Love, anybody else. Tyler Hero is the 60 Man of the year. And I know people didn't want to give him this award because they said, hey, you know what? Tyler Hero, he plays starter minutes. He doesn't deserve the 60 Man of the year award. Baloney, garbage, trash, nonsense, dung. Get it out of my face. I don't want to hear it. Tyler Hero is the 6th man of the year. Now, most improved, this was tricky. I either had, this was between DeAndre Murray. I just don't even want to say it, man. Ja Morant. Like, I don't even want to put Ja Morant's name in the most improved. Even though he did improve, he took that jump from taking his team to the playoffs last year, beating Golden State in a playing game last year, and then taking this leap to superstardom. I know it's a huge improvement, but I don't feel like Ja Morant should be in the discussion for most improved, even though I have him in the discussion just because he improved so much. I don't think he will take home this award from me. So it's either between DeAndre Murray or Darius Garland. And this has to go to DeAndre Murray. DeAndre Murray had a great season, All-Star. And I know Ja Morant was an All-Star. Darius Garland was an All-Star. All three of them were first-time All-Stars. But this lead that DeAndre Murray had, just look at his numbers. They were amazing. They were great. Even though the Spurs didn't plan out how they wanted to plan out. I mean, of course, they wanted to make the playoffs. Everyone wants to make the playoffs. But they didn't have those pieces to make the playoffs. And I feel like the Cavs had a better team than the Spurs. And, of course, Memphis have a much better team than the Spurs as well. So I have to give DeAndre Murray the most improved player award. Now, Rookie of the Year, people want to talk about Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley, and Cade Cunningham. I would give this to Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham just had amazing performance after amazing performance. And after he came off the injury, he started off slow, but he ramped it up. He picked it up, and he played amazing. To me, for a rookie, he played real good for a rookie. Leading them in scoring, of course. Leading all rookies in scoring. He played great. I don't really have nothing else to say for Cade Cunningham. But besides, this is what you expect from your number one pick. You want your number one picks to come in, to not be afraid to take big shots, to be fearless, to make things happen, to have counter moves, to have great basketball IQ. And he had those things as a young player. It was impressive to see. And I really want to see how Detroit will move forward in the future. Will they add pieces around him? We know how sometimes these franchises work. We don't know. We will have to wait to see that happen. Now, before we end this show, we have to give all our props to all the players that didn't make it. I mean, you have people on all NBA teams that should have made it. My pet peeve, I'm mad at myself that Jaylen Brown did not make a All-NBA team, either for me or he won't make the official All-NBA team either, just because his position. He's a shooting guard. He's listed as a shooting guard. People like Zach LaVine listed as a shooting guard. Even you just have a lot of other people as well who had great seasons but won't make a All-NBA team, and therefore they lose out on money because they don't meet that incentive in their contract. So it's kind of hard to see. I remember Klay Thompson not making an All-NBA team, which was crazy. Kemba Walker made it over him that year. Kemba Walker had a great year, but still, Klay Thompson that year, he deserved to be on an All-NBA team. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I'm hoping that the NBA changed the format and changed the structure of how they run the All-NBA teams so players can get their just due.